Don't make this complicated. It does. Going vegan does not need to be complicated. Hello, everybody. This is Ryan over at High Carb Regenerator. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, subscribe, like the video. So the topic of today's video, I've been absent for the past couple of days, but I woke up and I'm like, oh, I want to make this video. And it is transitioning into either being raw, starch solution. I'm not a huge fan of like the starch solution hardcore. I like a mix. I know this contradicts some of the stuff I said in the past, but my life without having any kind of fruit in it whatsoever has not been as efficient as when I was on the starch solution. And like that brief, actually it was almost about a year of being on 50-50 plate. That was terrible. So what do you need to do to transition into being a raw vegan, or, you know, a combination of, I do not suggest a 50-50 plate. It's going to happen once in a while. Like you might, I don't know, get this cabbage that you really want to cook up and you mix it with potatoes or whatever. It might happen once in a while, but it is not something that I would really use to any level, because you might lose some weight in the beginning, but at some point you're going to destroy your metabolism. Why are you going to destroy your metabolism? The less calories that you eat, the more or the less that your thyroid sends out hormones to actually increase your metabolism. So what happens is your metabolism matches where your calories are at, which sounds good in the beginning until you realize that you got to keep eating less and less to actually match the metabolism that you have to actually lose weight, or to function at all. And what happens is you start adding in stimulants like caffeine, coffee, whatever, just to have enough energy to get through the day. And at some point you're going to hit what's called the binge. You're going to just, fork anything into your mouth that you can possibly get into, no matter what it is. Oreos, ice cream, baby back ribs. It doesn't really matter. You're just going to, because you cannot sustain this for a long time. We are not built to live on starvation. The reason you can survive on starvation is because your body slows its metabolism down and starts storing everything that you eat. Now, it's not very easy for your body to store carbohydrates as fat. It's the lipogenesis. I forget exactly how do you say it. Maybe I'll put the name here. But it can be done. But most of the time, these binges don't happen on carbohydrates. They happen on things that people think are carbohydrates. And that is the donuts, the cupcakes, and all that kind of stuff. But if you actually look at the calorie count on them, it's usually 50, 60, 70% fat, and the rest is sugar, and everybody wants to blame the sugar. Okay, so that's enough with the 50-50 plate and, all the binging and everything. But if you don't eat enough, I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's on raw vegan. I don't care if it's on starch solution. I don't care if it's on fruitarian. I don't care. Whatever it is. Whatever it is, at some point you are going to binge hard. And that's how you know that you're not eating enough. If you go to a family event and you are eating everything in sight and they're like, damn boy, leave some for the rest of us, chances are 100% that you are not eating enough in your day-to-day. Or you didn't eat anything on the way there, so because you thought they were going to have food that you could eat. So, you really got to keep this under control. You got to eat enough. All right. Now that that's under the way, I would suggest getting a high-speed blender. Now, I know that's not food, but transitioning and having one of them crappy-ass blenders, you might be able to make it through. I don't know. But the first thing that I bought, I believe, was the Vitamix. Either that or a juicer. But even then, I suggest getting a juicer. And everybody's like, well, you're against juicing, blah, 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 blah. And that's absolutely not true. I do like juicing, but I don't think that going on a juice fast is a good idea at all. At all. At all. I know you're still getting in your calories. I'm not a huge fan of it. I don't think it's a good idea. That's just me. I think there are better ways to get calories. Now, do I think juices are fun and good and everything like that? Yeah, especially if you want to bring them out on a bike ride. They've really helped me quite a bit out on bike rides. You know, you make a juice, not like a kale juice, like an actual juice, like I don't know, or like one of my favorites. Maybe if I can find it, I'll put a video here. One of my favorites is carrot and orange juice, and then if I have like a pineapple, I would mix it in there. But some high calorie, not none of this low calorie, you know, kale juice breatharianism, you know, woo woo nonsense. And not that I'm not really for it, but I don't really want to hate on them people because we're all at where we're at. But it's just, you see these people, you know, that try to live on that kind of stuff, and that's who the vegan deterioration is going after. You know, you really got to watch. You really got to watch. Anyways, so get a juice. I would get a high-speed blender first. If you can actually get a vacuum high-speed blender like the Tribest, if I think of it, I'll put a link down below. That would probably be the equivalent of getting a juicer and a high-speed blender. I interviewed John Kohler. I'll tag that here. He and I were talking about this. One of the best things to make a juice in is actually a vacuum seal high-speed blender. So that's definitely an option. Now, carrot juice is not, you can't do that in there. So if you really want to do carrot juice, then get yourself like a Tribest or whatever, twin gear or a single auger. All right, the next thing that you're going to need is a rice cooker. I linked one down below. Don't get some Dollar General, whatever. Like if you're going to get a Dollar General, just cook it on the stove yourself. I don't understand the wasting of rice in these cheap rice cookers. Anyway, that or in an Instant Pot. I'm not a fan of even cooking your rice in an Instant Pot. I know I'm going to get people on here that say, I do it every day, blah, 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 blah. There is a difference in my mind. I can taste the difference between a rice cooker and Instant Pot. But I think the Instant Pot is a good thing to have if you can get like an Instant Pot that is Instant Pot air fryer. Fine. That's a good combination. I have one. I like it. I use it once in a while. Then, how do you start off your day? I always start off the day with these. Bananas. Now, if you live in an area that you can only get these, so there's two different kinds of bananas. That right there, they're both where you want to eat them. These you don't want to look like this. If they look like this, they're going to be too ripe and they probably will stick to the peel. You want the other ones that are spotted to look spotted. Chances are this is the one that you're going to see the most often. You want them to look like this. If they are very yellow and not spotted at all, they're not, in my mind, ripe enough. I know a lot of people say that if when you're peeling it, it's a soft peel, like, you know, it's not making any noise, then that's when they are ripe. I kind of agree with that, but sometimes when you find the other side, the Cavendish, which is this one, they will a soft peel, and I still don't. One of the best ways to go about this is if you smell it and it smells sweet, then you know that it's ripe. If you smell it and it smells like kind of like astringent, that is not ripe yet. So that's a good thing to go by. But I would 100% start off the day with like 10 to 15 bananas. Now, if you're going to get the small bananas, you're going to have to get a little bit more. I would make a smoothie with the Cavendish, which is a bigger style. I would not make a smoothie at all with this kind at all. It does not go well. I don't care what kind of blender you have. They are so fibery that they're going to form a paste of some kind. I mean, you can literally use this stuff probably to paste wallpaper to your wall. I mean, it's crazy how thick that it's like a batter. It just, don't do it. Like, you can add maybe one or two into a smoothie. that's got a lot of liquid into it, liquid in it. But other than that, it just stay away, stay away. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And then I would actually suggest doing that for lunch too. But in the beginning, maybe just start off your day with that, and then just eat however you're going to eat the rest of the day. And then maybe like a month later, add in the second like banana smoothie and take your lunch over. And then just have whatever you want for the rest of the day. And then maybe a month later, add in the rice. I mean, you don't have to take that long. You can take, I transitioned pretty quick. But I think I went almost cold turkey. I stayed vegetarian for like a month. I still had milk, maybe for 2 months. But ironically, the month that I dropped dairy is I lost like 50 pounds in that month. It was crazy. I mean, I was like, wow, this is how bad milk is for you. I didn't lose weight like that quick at all, dropping meat. Not that I'm saying eat meat, but it was amazing to me how terrible milk stuff is for you. It was amazing to me. I actually, for a while, was eating like goat milk because I thought, they were a lot healthier and everything, but that's just not the case. And then I went raw milk, which is even crazier because they're allowed like 250,000 cells of pus per 1 cc of milk. And when it's raw, I think it's even worse. I know this is hard to find information on, and if you search my videos, I do believe I have a video on that. But anyway, when you're transitioning, I would say drop the milk as quick as you can. And then just add in like a rice or a potato for dinner. Or if you want, you can actually have the rice for lunch. Instead of doing a smoothie for lunch, you can have rice for lunch. I just noticed that when you start eating the starches, your energy goes down a little bit, not a ton. And potatoes, it goes down a little bit more, but that's usually a sign that you're not eating enough. If you're having a massive lull, if you're like passed out afterwards, then you are just not eating enough prior to, like the days prior to. Like if you are eating something like that and you are passing out, either you're allergic to nightshades, if it's potatoes, or you just aren't eating enough yet, and it's a transition, and your microbiome has to catch up because it hasn't been digesting this stuff in a while. So there is going to be a transition. You are probably going to get a little bit bloated in the beginning of this, or a lot bloated in the beginning of this. It happens. It's just kind of a natural process. Your microbiome has to catch up. It's just something that you're going to likely go through. So don't blame the diet. Oh, sugar killed my gut, whatever it is. Now, let's talk about sugar. I do like to add in sugar with the smoothies, especially the bananas. They're not the Cavendish. They're just not as sweet as they used to be, so I add in sugar. How much? That's up to you. However much you want to put in there. Now, the one thing that might hurt your gut is white sugar in the beginning. So I would get more of an organic, unrefined sugar. It's a little bit bigger of a grains, but it breaks down in the blender just as good. That is what I would do. So what I would also have around is dates. I've got these. These are from the date people. So I would have bananas, dates, and maybe frozen mango. Mango's getting a little bit harder to find this time of year. It's not really. We're coming out of mango season. We're going into peach season, so you can actually peaches and bananas is really good. But I would not add too many ingredients into these smoothies. Some people DM me and they got like 10 ingredients into these smoothies. I'm like, whoa, why bother? Well, because I need blah, blah. You don't need all that. There's just no reason for it. Your body really doesn't. This whole balanced whatever that came around in the late 70s was created by the food industry. Why do you think it was created by the food industry? To lose money or to make more money? So really think about this. Do you really need this? Like if we were out in nature, would you really be finding 35 variety of things that you're going to be putting in your smoothie? No, not real likely. And if you were actually having agriculture back in the day, how much of your land would you waste on something that didn't have any energy or calories or whatever they called it back then? So they would grow corn or potatoes or rice. They're not going to waste their time with all these greens and herbs and all that. They might have them, but the bulk of their energy is going to be put into the bulk of their food. So, I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of this add 30,000 things into your smoothie, or, I say 3 items or less. In a juice, 5 items or less. In a food, like in a meal, I still say 5 items or less. Sometimes I add up to 7, but I really try not to. Really try not to. And the 7, I'm talking about like if I make a salsa or something like that. And did I take video of that? I don't think I did. I made a salsa the other day with green mango, corn, tomatoes from my garden, pepper, and cilantro and parsley from my garden. It was really good. If I find, I put a picture up here. I don't think, for whatever reason, I didn't take video of that. And that's about it. Just keep it as simple as you possibly can. That is where people fail, is when they're trying to add in 34,000 items into each thing. It's expensive beyond belief for no reason. And it just becomes daunting. Don't make it daunting. Don't make this complicated. It does. Going vegan does not need to be complicated. That is the moral of the story. I would probably cut that out and also put that at the beginning of the video. Don't make this more complicated than it needs to be. Just do smoothies with like 2 or 3 items at most. Do rice and put a little bit of things in it, like maybe a little bit of soy sauce, maybe a little bit of mustard, whatever, ketchup, whatever you like. And just keep this really simple in the beginning, especially. And then if you want to start adding in, maybe get the McDougall cookbook. I don't think I have it down here. I know I don't have it down here. And just go from there. Or if you really want to get the 80-10-10 book, I think I've got the stuff linked below. I don't know. That is where I would start with that. That is where I would start. Keep it simple. Otherwise, you will be another ex-vegan who is saying vegan deterioration killed me, blah, blah, blah. I lost 8,000 pounds on vegan because you overcomplicated. I don't care if it's vegan or not. If you overcomplicate anything, at some point, you check out. You peace. Like, I can't do this. This is too much. And that is what happens most of the time. So this is my transition video. And any questions down below? If I get a ton of questions down below, then I'll just make another video answering them questions. Because I haven't done like a Q&A in a while. Anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time.